So the topic that I wanted to touch on today is my sensitivity. And I wanted to talk about this because I feel like there was a particular point in my life where I became more sensitive. And I don't think that I was always this sensitive. I think that I had a fairly good balance, I think, of being sensitive and not sensitive, I guess you could say. For the most part, as an adult anyway, I felt like I never was overly sensitive. But I had a beating heart in here, and I certainly had some sensitivity. But I mean, it would take a lot to get me to cry, I guess you could say. I was not like one of those criers who cried all the time. And I honestly feel like the birth of my daughter was the trigger point that caused me to be way more sensitive than ever before, man. I mean, I feel like ever since my daughter came into my world, my sensitivity just shot through the roof, I mean, literally. It just has. I feel like I have a difficult time watching movies now. I mean, without choking up or having scenes affect me. Like, I used to love horror flicks, love scary movies, loved horror flicks, and I want to say that I still do, but I have a hard time watching some of them, man. If they're too realistic, I can't do it, like, I find myself just like mentally just being disturbed by some of these movies, man. And I mean, when scary movies are kind of more almost funny, I mean, it's almost laughable at how like ridiculous the slasher film part of it is or whatever, I feel like that's okay, I can do that. But with some of these movies that are horror movies or even psychological thrillers, man, I have a hard time like letting myself go from that movie after I watch it. Like, it's sticking with me, for a long time. Some of these TV shows even are doing the same thing. The news, believe it or not, I have had to disengage from the news, from watching the news, from reading the news. Some of it I can't get away from because I have to read the news for my job. So part of my job is keeping up on current events. So there's some of it that I just can't ever get away from. But I get so affected by some of these horrible stories, because the news is just filled with negative story after negative story after negative story, and they really just like affect me, like I'm disturbed. I have found myself, this is no joke, I have found myself reading stories that were just horrific stories about child abuse or a child murder or something like that. And I've found myself literally in tears. Like, seriously. My head in my hands, just tears coming out of my face. Just affected by this story. And I think it hurts so much because obviously I'm putting it into context. I'm a father. But I know that it's real. It's not a movie. Like, after I watch like a scary movie or something that's affecting me negatively on TV or whatever, I can easily tell myself, hey, it's just fantasy. It's just a story. It's not real. Just let it go, man. It's entertainment. But for real life tragedies, oh my God, man, I can't do it. You know, it's so difficult. And I was never like that before, you know? Geez, I mean, I would read the news regularly. I had to delete the news apps from my phone. Like, I used to have news apps on there, read the news on my phone. I don't do that anymore because there's just too much negative news out there. Now, here's the thing. Here's the flip side. I really don't feel like I'm missing out of anything. I don't. Even in terms of, like, world affairs, because everybody lets you know, you know? So that's the flip side, is that as much as I want to distance myself from current events and what's going on in the world, I can't get away from it, you know, because someone is going to let me know. Someone always does let me know, or you hear it somewhere, whether you're walking by a TV screen or people are just talking about it. You still know what's going on in the world. So I've actually been amazed at how much I still know of what's going on, despite not being plugged in. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there. I think that even though I'm not a mother, you know, I'm a father, and I know that mothers go through kind of physical and chemical changes after having children. You know, just having my daughter, I think, has really just sensitized me more so than I have ever been in my entire life. So anyway, just thought I'd share my thoughts on my sensitivity. So with that, my friends, my people, continue to stay rooted 90 degrees to the earth. One love.